What's going on, guys? It's Jacob Orth back with another video of Jacob's Life in Vegas. Hanging out here, you guys can probably see the Las Vegas roller coaster there. I'm using it as my backdrop, or I guess the New York roller coaster to be more specific. But wanted to come at you guys with a video today about religion in Las Vegas. And this is one that, you know, some people, you bring up the topic, it gets pretty touchy for them right away. But, you know, for those of you who are thinking about moving here, you know, this is something that may be important to you. So I wanted to make a video and put it out there for you guys to think about. Before we jump into it though, guys, I gotta say thank you for watching the video. Welcome to the channel. Please subscribe if you guys have not subscribed yet. At the end of this video, please give it a like if you like it. And throw in a comment, tell me what you think after the end of this video, what you think about the topic. So we're going to get into it, talking about religion in Las Vegas. This was something I looked into some before I moved out here, not a whole lot, but I've learned more now just since living here, and I've actually, you know, read about it more and read more about the history of Las Vegas. It's fairly interesting because the religious landscape here is pretty different than than a lot of the national numbers, and let me break that down for you. So to give you guys an idea, about 50%, I think it's like 50% of people in the U.S. You know, have a religious affiliation. Here in Vegas, that number is about 36%, or I should say in Clark County, really. It's 36%, so it's lower than the national average, the people who affiliate with a religion. But those who do tend to be pretty strong in their belief, and I'll get to that actually in a little bit. But of the major religious breakdowns we have down here, you know, the four major ones you're probably going to see are people who are Catholic, which accounts for about 47%, Southern Baptist, which accounts for about 5%, Jewish, which is about 15%, and then Mormon, which is about 16%. Now, of those, a couple of them probably stand out. One, the Catholics, because the Catholics nationally are about, I think it's 25% of people who have a religious affiliation are Catholic. Here it's 47. It's almost double what the national average is. That number stood out to me when I first looked at it. But the other numbers that stand out are the Jewish and Mormon numbers. Because if you look nationally, Jewish people and Mormon people, I think, only accounts for something like 2% of the religious makeup of the United States. And here in Vegas, those numbers are 7 and 8 times that amount. The Mormon numbers, I actually had heard some about Las Vegas and this area having a larger Mormon population. The Jewish population I had no idea about. It wasn't until I moved here that I had found out. But the Mormon population I had heard was fairly sizable here in Las Vegas and in Clark County. And I think it used to be even bigger before, you know, the city had started growing so much and had so many people moving in from other areas. But really this area, and really this part of the country, you know, most people, if you know anything, if you're into, you know, religion at all, or know anything about the Mormon faith, you know that Utah is essentially looked at as, you know, the Mormon state within the U.S. You know, Provo, Utah, that's where BYU is. That's where there's a lot of people who are Mormon in Utah. But really, it also extends to the other areas out here, and we call them Mountain West states. So out in New Mexico and Arizona, here in Nevada, up in Idaho, particularly southern Idaho, this part of the country is where you will find a lot of Mormon people. And it makes sense out here when I looked into the history of Las Vegas some more, because it was way back in 1855 when actually there was Mormons who set up a fort here in Las Vegas as a halfway point between Los Angeles and Salt Lake City. So really from the get-go, there was quite a bit of Mormon influence here in Las Vegas. And, you know, that's something that, like I said, I knew a little bit about that, but I didn't know really until I got out here. And, you know, try to put it in perspective for you guys in terms of like the number of congregations by the four religions I just listed. If you were to take all of the Catholic congregations, all the Southern Baptist congregations, and all the Jewish congregations, add them together and double it, that still would not equal as many Mormon congregations as there are here in Clark County. It would come close, but it wouldn't quite reach it. I think there's almost 200 Mormon congregations here in Clark County. I think it's like 187 or something like that. These are a lot of numbers that I found on city data when I was researching Las Vegas and Clark County before I came out here. So if you go to citydata.com, it does a pretty good job of breaking down these numbers. And you know, you going off those numbers, you can see a lot of that influence out here. And the other thing I noticed out here, and this one's harder to find numbers for, it's harder to quantify, but I feel that here in Las Vegas we actually have a pretty sizable agnostic and atheist population. You know, anything I've read has said people are agnostic, you know, anywhere from 13 to 20% of the population would say they're agnostic, and only about 2% regard themselves as atheist. It's hard to find numbers for that even here in Las Vegas, but I just feel that here that is higher than the national average. And because remember, in Las Vegas, the percent of people who affiliate religiously is 36%, while nationally it's 50%. So there's an overall lower affiliation with religion, but I feel like out here, people who are religious, you know, tend to be fairly strong about it. And one of the ways you see it, actually it's a little way that I started to pick up after living out here a while, is actually on people's cars. And I'm not just talking about, like, you know, bumper stickers, but when I moved out here, I noticed a lot of custom license plates with certain messages on them, but I'd never been anywhere where I'd seen so many license plates and so many license plate frames about religion with, you know, some short message or just one word on it. I'd never seen so many of them out here. And you can tell too, really when you're driving on the freeway. There's a lot of billboards out here with religious messages, with scriptures on them, and those kind of things. I mean, really, when you drive down the freeway here, I tell people there's three main types of billboards, okay? There's the tourist attractions, stuff on the strip, whether they're, you know, clubs or shows or whatever, religious billboards, and then billboards for injury attorneys. Okay, those are the three main billboards you see, but you do see a lot of them, and oftentimes you'll be driving up Highway 15 and, you know, you'll see an advertisement for, you know, the Chippendales or something, or for Thunder from Down Under, or for, you know, one of the strip clubs or something like that. And then, like, right further just down the Highway 15, you'll see a religious billboard. And there is a lot of religious influence out here. So, you know, there's some people, I've worked with some people who are complete atheists, and they are completely against religion and any notion of like that. And I've actually worked with some people, even in nightlife, who you would say are very strong in their religious beliefs. So, you know, I put that all out there for you guys to see, and just because it might be important to some of you. And, you know, it was tough even for me when I was researching to find information on that, because somebody had told me that they had heard Las Vegas actually has more churches per capita than any city in the country. And I'd heard that, and I think I may have even read it somewhere. But what was interesting was on the news, really out here just a few months ago, just in the springtime this year, 2014, there was a news story about churches and about religion here in Las Vegas, and how there's a lot of churches in the South that are sending pastors here to Las Vegas to build churches and build congregations, because the numbers they gave in this news report said that in the South, that there's apparently one church for every 120 people. In Las Vegas, there's apparently one church for every 4,000 people. So those numbers are obviously different extremes. And I'd read that Las Vegas has anywhere from 500 to 600 churches, which, you know, for this area to have 2 million people would be, about one person or one church for every 4,000 people. But the idea that there's more churches here per capita than anywhere else in the country, they talked about that on the newscast, because what they said was there's a lot of people who open churches out here to perform weddings, but they don't actually perform any services. Because if you look a little more into some of Vegas's tourism, Las Vegas has over 100,000 couples get married here every single year. The wedding business is huge out here. A lot of these hotels have their own chapels. There's chapels all, especially once you get like north on Las Vegas Boulevard, towards downtown and that kind of thing. Tons of chapels, because there's so many people get married out here that a lot of those churches open just to be in the business of performing weddings. They don't perform any kind of services for the local community. They're just open to perform weddings. So having that many churches open who don't perform any kind of weddings, they don't perform any services, they're just to perform weddings, that obviously is going to skew the numbers, and it's hard to get exact numbers for which churches do perform services and which just do weddings. But having that many churches just for the wedding business throws off the numbers for sure. And I wanted to make this video because there's people that come here from all different parts of the country. There's people who are going to be coming here who really are strong in their religious faith, and there's other people coming here who is really that's not who they are, and that's fine. Either way you're going to be, either way you are, you're going to find a group for you. Okay, if you are atheist, there's an atheist group here in Las Vegas. If you're agnostic, there's plenty of agnostics. If you're strong, in being Catholic or Mormon or whatever the case may be, whatever, or a smaller denomination or smaller religion. Okay, I listed some of the major ones out here, but there are smaller denominations, and pretty much whatever denomination you are, you can find a place for you. You can find a place where you can go and be with other like-minded people who share your views. So I wanted to cover this topic. I know it's sensitive for some people. I do want you guys to comment on this, but keep it respectful down in the comments section, okay? So wherever you're coming from, whatever faith you may have, you will probably be able to find other people who are like-minded like you here in Las Vegas. So that'll be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for sharing the videos. Okay, I've got quite a few of you done a great job sharing videos. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe to the channel. Please please put in a comment. Tell me what you think. Ask any questions you have, and I'll answer your questions down there in the comments. Any video requests or things like that, put that in the comments too, and I will work on getting a video out there for you guys. So that'll be it. Please visit my site, www.JacobslifeinVegas.com, and I'm Jacob. This is My Life in Vegas.